What's going on, everybody? My name is Tuck. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Torching Time podcast. As always, I am your host, Tuck. Why the Tuck on all social medias, joined as always by TJ at TJ's Rice on all social medias. Today, we have a special guest, my friend Zoe. Zoe, say hello to all the viewers.
Hey guys, most of you may not know me. I am Zoe. I used to play COD competitively. Now I just stream content, and it's been fun.
Very cool. Zoe is a former competitive player, which will be fun for the competitive COD podcast we have. So, you know who we are now. Let's move on to how the last 2 weeks in our lives have been. Starting off with, I guess, me. We actually managed to win multiple game battles in one night. That's pretty epic, TJ.
Hoggers.
We took down 3 top 400 teams and finally fell to the top 70 team. Other than that, bro, just grinding YouTube. Not a lot going on for me. I finally announced my goal in a video that I want to reach YouTube partnership, and apparently that's the key to success, is telling people you have a goal, because it's never implied that I'm just doing this because, you know, there's an end to my means, right? There's never actually a grind to work with unless you announce what you're grinding for, which is always fun, but that's enough for me. How have your last 2 weeks been, TJ?
A lot of Tarkov and a little bit of Call of Duty.
It needs to be the other way around, brother.
I mean, it does, but I've just been raging too hard at Call of Duty, so I've just kind of been.
You know what, dude? Valid. I feel it. Every time I get shot in the back on Crossroads, I want to uninstall.
Yeah, I have the Tarkov itch recently, so I mean, I've been playing that, but I have been also hopping back and forth playing GBs with you guys and whatnot, and it's been fun.
All right, Mr. Zoe, how have your last 2 weeks been?
Been pretty up and down. More up than down, thankfully. I took a little week off of streaming, as most of the people who follow me know. I think I needed it for a mental break, and especially with things that I've been going through. But you know, it's been fun grinding Valorant, getting back into CS:GO a lot, and just playing a lot of single player games, Cyberpunk, GTA. Now I'm starting to do role playing, and so no, it's been fun planning ahead for this year.
Yeah, everybody needs a break every now and then. That's why I don't stream every day. It's why I don't recommend streaming every day unless it's like a full-time job type deal. If I streamed every day, I would probably, 1, I wouldn't accomplish anything, and 2, I would probably lose my mind, because video games right now just don't occupy me that much. I'm sure TJ feels the same way. Like, TJ plays a lot of Tarkov, but if he played Tarkov every day, he probably wouldn't have that much fun with it.
Yeah, probably.
It's such a grindy game. Especially playing with Andrew every day. Oof, dude.
It's a big oof every once in a while.
Just having his kids scream in the background because he doesn't know how his mute button works.
True.
But unless anyone has any jaw-dropping information they want to leak, we're going to move on to our first topic. So you guys have 5 seconds to give me an announcement.
Spawns on Crossroads are still atrocious.
Yes, they are.
I agree.
And the map in Search and Destroy is me getting shot in the back.
Great.
Alright. So, since the last podcast, which was 2 weeks ago for me and TJ, Zoe's, this is his first appearance. There have been a lot of big wins and a lot of big losses in the Call of Duty realm of esports. We're going to talk about the biggest oof of them all, which is Zoomaa stepping away from competing this year under New York subliners. What is your guys' initial thoughts on that one?
I understand the reasoning. I'm not happy about it, but I understand.
I don't think any of us are happy about it, but
it's a depressing time because I mean the Stallion, he was a fucking goat. But I mean, health comes first. I get that. It sucks. But
Zoomaa, from what I understand, played Claw. So the things he's describing in his Twitlonger makes it seem like carpal tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And carpal tunnel's no bueno.
But I'm pretty sure that he stopped playing Claw whenever he had the issues the first time.
I mean, more than likely, but still, I'm sure that doesn't go away whenever you play 8 hours a day and play as hard as he does.
Right.
I'm sure after 7,000 slide cancels, the injury comes back. But I guess the one positive takeaway from Zoomaa stepping back, if there is a positive takeaway, is now we have a full-time content Zoomaa, which it's good for the esports scene because like Zoomaa on Hex's podcast, I'm pretty sure said like the only game he plays is Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I will say the whole switch from the CWL and the CDL in general, I was never with it. Okay, I understand the whole having your own city based teams and whatnot, but the CWL was something special. And growing up watching Zuma, it's sad to see him take a step back, but at the end of the day, your health is more important. And I've been watching Zuma a lot as far as content wise. He is funny. He's gonna do great in the content realm. So I'm not worried about him. It's gonna be sad not seeing him play anymore, but there's nothing you can do. At the end of the day, health has to come first.
Zuma is one of the most unintentionally funny people in the league or associated with the league. Especially, I'm sure Zoe saw it. I'm not sure if TJ saw it. Do you remember last year whenever he was on the E-Girl podcast and he basically yelled at the one girl for like a solid 3 minutes?
Oh, are we talking about the King of the Hill?
Yeah.
That wasn't
That
that was a
that
while back.
clip, yeah, it was a while back, but that clip
You shut
is
your mouth when
still-
I'm talking.
that clip is still in my camera roll constantly. I watch it daily. It's the first time we've seen someone 1v6 on the main stage.
Dude, Zuma, Tommy he's gonna be fine in content land, and I'm excited.
Mhm.
I'd really like to see the CDL capitalize on him being an analyst because right now the talent for CDL is not very good because all their casters keep getting canceled. Last year we lost Momo, we lost Benson, we lost... Who else did we lose? We lost someone.
Well, we lost Momo for certain.
We lost Benson and
Reasons?
Momo for the same
Yeah,
reason.
for
I'm
the
aware
same
of the
reason.
reasons. I'm not going to go out there because I'm not big on talking down on people. I don't think he deserved to lose his job over it, but the way of the road. Like, I don't know. Like, what he did was wrong. I'm not denying that. Let's just get this off. Let's clear the air. I'm not defending Momo. I'm not a big fan of getting people fired from what they do.
Right.
Unless it's
I mean,
like...
When you're a person of, even if you're verified on Twitter, you're a role model to some people. So you just can't do things like that. Even in your past, if you know where you want to go, you just have to stay in your own lane and you can't do things like this.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know, dude. Like I said, I'm just not of the mindset of canceling people to the point where they actually lose their jobs or stuff that hurts them like that in the long run. But it happened, it's over with. I would love to see Zuma on the desk, or like at least in like the commercials they play between matches, so they don't have to get Nameless again, because Nameless did not fucking care about anything he said during like those search and destroy tips and tricks mini things he put in between matches.
Hey, you want to stop them from pushing mid? Throw smoke mid. And
Throw a
everybody's like,
smoke
"No,
mid. Watch
really?"
pro player Wuskin snipe the cross at this angle on Piccadilly.
I would like to see the Zuma and Nameless combo as an analysis. And I think that would be interesting.
It probably would be. I'm just trying to think of what he would do. Zuma and Study would be a good combo on the desk.
Yeah.
But let's continue the story of Oofs, because Zuma's gone, which automatically makes New York a worse team. So if we look at week 1 power rankings, week 1 for the podcast, New York was my 5th team on this list. Now, with Zuma having to step back, and then Hydra having visa issues, so he's not going to be able to play immediately, if at all, this season, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take him to get a visa that'll let him play from, America. Right now, New York's roster is Asim, Clayster, Mac, and DiamondCon. Now, personally, you guys can say whatever you want whenever we ask the question in a second. That puts New York at, like, the 9-10 spot on my power ranking now. I don't think anyone can be worse than Paris right now. Florida also had a roster change recently, as in, like, 6 hours ago. And then I just don't like London as a team, so they're going to fall probably in the 10th spot or 9th spot. And Zoe, a recap of the rosters: Dallas, Optic, Atlanta, Thieves, New York was 5, Minnesota, Seattle, Los Angeles Gorillas, Toronto, London, Florida, Paris. So with that knowledge and what we just said about New York's new team, where do you guys put New York?
They definitely drop down, like significantly. I would agree with you. 9, 10. It's probably around where I'd put them.
I wouldn't put them bottom 3. I still think they're 7th, 8th in the ranking. Mac is a fantastic player. I think Asim can hold his own. I don't think he's had that spotlight put on him yet. But the fourth, I forgot his name during this podcast.
Diamond Con. If you need anything, just
Yeah.
look in maintenance. There's a bunch of reference materials here.
So I mean, Diamond Con, I don't know. Maybe he's a player that will come out of nowhere and take over the league, but that is very highly unlikely. So for me, New York is 7th, 8th. They're not horrible, but I still don't think they can beat any of the main teams.
See, the only reason why I put them low is because we don't know if Mac's a one-hit wonder or not. He came in middle of last year and showed up, but who knows if he's going to be able to do the same this year. And then Asim and Diamond Con, Asim wasn't even going to be on a team if it wasn't for Hydra's visa issues. And Diamond Con just came from amateur, so who knows? Clayster's the only for sure person that you know is going to be good on that team.
Now remember, Zoe said 7, 8. So Seattle is Octane, Pristini, Looney, and Gunless? Question mark. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looney, Gunless, Octane, Pristini is Seattle, and then the Los Angeles Gorillas was Seal, Apathy, Assault, and Vivid. So the last 4v4 COD World Champs, 3 of them, and then Vivid is their 4th as the 8th team. I don't think New York is better than either of those teams, personally. But again, as I said like in the first podcast, Los Angeles Gorillas' success depends on apathy. It depends what apathy we get. Do we get like Friday afternoon apathy or Champ Sunday apathy?
Right.
But
apathy is one of the more underrated COD players in the league, in my opinion. He was in what, back to back champs, and he won 2 out of the 3 of them, right? He was in BO3, he was in IW, and he was in World War II, and he won in BO3 and World War
yes,
II.
he did.
So,
and no, you're right, yeah.
In some weird realm where Envy beats Optic in 2017, I don't think it would have happened. But
Let's also
in some,
throw this out there as a footnote. Apathy also won an event with Censor and Aches with a broken hand.
Mm-hmm. So in some weird realm where Envy wins, beats Optic, Apathy still leaves, and then wins in World War II champs, Apathy would have been what, the second player to win back to back rings. So it just, the storylines you can make out of that. But Apathy is a very underrated player.
The role he plays is like the aggressive SMG player is going to vary from COD to COD. He got, I don't want to say lucky, but he kind of got blessed with what the PPSH was in World War II. The PPSH was a do-it-all weapon in World War II, but unfortunately World War II is such a scuffed game. I don't think any... TK, I think, is the only team that placed top 6 in World War II champs that I think deserved to be in top 6 in World War II champs. Optic didn't make bracket play. Rise Nation got top 16. I think FaZe Clan got 3rd. I'm trying to think. I'm really repressing the memories of World War II champs.
E United placed top 6.
E United got 4th.
Oh, so they got top 4.
E United definitely got 4th. They had Felony as their 4th instead of Silly, who won the event. But I guess because I didn't realize this whenever I made the topic list, let's talk about Florida real quick because they have subbed in Neptune for Havoc as their 4th player. So I don't know a lot about Neptune.
He's in the Challengers scene. He's been going off. I like it a lot.
I know
Anyone who
Neptune's
even
played
had
with
Pro Link.
Parasite. That's really all I know about him. Like
I'm
I
pretty
said
sure-
in the original power rankings, Havoc's an S&D star. Maybe he's just struggling in respawn a lot, or they're having some bad vibes. Because what did I say? Did I say that? Was that one of the teams I brought up where Havoc and Slack basically play the same role?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, Colt is a bowl cut. He's sometimes hard to deal with, it seems like. So I'm guessing that's it, because I can't really justify the move otherwise, because it's not like Florida was going to make a lot of noise anyway. I mean, Florida's still my 11th team after the change, because Paris is Paris. This fucking podcast is just me shitting on Paris.
Yeah, Paris isn't good.
They're not very good, just the entire organization. So were you aware that Paris went 2 months without tweeting?
Yeah.
Okay, just to make sure that we're all on the same page of how bad of an organization they are top to bottom.
How do you expect to be a team if you do not interact with your fans? It
What
doesn't make any
fans?
sense. Hey, some people rep Paris who live in Paris. You
I don't know why.
you can't knock them for it. One thing that has been popping up is I forgot his name, the owner of Heretics. We
Don't
need
know.
him in the CDL.
Heretics in general, they need a franchise spot because they are the most
Yes.
passionate fans in esports.
Yes.
They should be
Heretics should have the spot that Paris holds right
Yeah.
now.
100%.
Probably, more than likely, because the clip of Heretics making Pro League in BO4 was one of the best moments of that entire year. Fuckers are actually just hugging and crying on main stage because they were so happy they made it, which, like, I appreciate the passion. It's not a lot of shit you see. Because then there were other teams like Midnight who were like, yeah, we're just that fucking good, dude.
Or you have guys like Scompy's like, dude, what are we doing?
What are we fucking doing?
If we don't make the Pro League, what are we doing?
Which that's going to come up later whenever we talk about challengers and stuff, because there's a lot of teams right now that are probably capable of being in Paris' spot, to be honest. But let's breeze by the next topic, because not a lot has really changed, but it's just a talking point to talk about. GB and CDL rule set changes, new maps, new GAs. So for game battles, the big thing that's going to impact me and TJ is they finally fucking took Armada Strike out of S&D variant. Finally,
how long?
It took them since the last podcast, so it took them 3 months.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
rough.
That map should have never been in.
It never should have been, but it was, because we had that joke of it was actually in pro play at one point, because they had the fucking joke of Parasite ziplining up to the B site. So they finally took Armada Strike out of GBS and D variant, which saved me a lot of time and stress, because that map was an automatic tilt session for me. At least we finally won a map on it, and it's on my YouTube somewhere. They still haven't taken Hardpoint Miami out of GB variant hardpoint rotation, which I don't play a lot of hardpoints, but why the fuck is Hardpoint Miami in the GB variant?
At least when I played Miami, it was very fun to play on S&D.
That's what I
S&D
think too. I think Miami's a great S&D map. If the beach wasn't as big as the beach is, it would be better, but I think Miami in general is a well-designed map for S&D. It's just a matter of not getting sniped on the cross.
Yeah, I feel like Miami is kind of like the arc log of this game.
It definitely is. So,
Stupid for anything else, but just, I mean, decent for S&D.
CDL rule set changes. They've officially banned attack rifles.
About fucking time.
Officially banned tac rifles, excuse me. And then there's a new GA for getting rid of snipers and smoke grenades in S&D, because the reasoning behind it is there are one-way smokes, which for those of you that don't know what a one-way smoke is, if you throw a smoke grenade down, there are two sides of that smoke grenade. One side can't see through, the other side can.
If you guys play a lot of CSGO and Valorant, they use one-way smokes. So this isn't CSGO or Valorant, this is Call of Duty. So one-way smoke shouldn't even be happening in this game.
And I feel like this is a byproduct because we're basically all in agreement that this is a copy and paste to BO4, and there were no smoke grenades to test in BO4 other than that one stupid specialist that no one used, and his smoke grenade made like a fire siren noise. I didn't play a lot of pubs, but I know the guy existed. So the reasoning they're getting rid of smokes because of the one-way thing, and because of the one-way thing they're getting rid of sniper rifles for the time being. This is a temporary GA until Treyarch decides they want to fix the problem, but how long will it take them to fix the problem? Because if there's no counter to sniper rifles, they just don't want to have the sniper rifles to play with, which I get. It sucks. I like snipers. I feel like they need to be in S&D even if the snipers for competitive in this game are broken. They just bring a certain level of excitement to any game, realistically, but
I say they fix snipers. Do something to fix it. I don't know what it is. Do something just to fix snipers, and because imagine a COD without snipe. When's the last time we've had a COD where they didn't snipe in an S&D map?
COD 4?
We're talking about during the CWL to CDL scene. When's the last time we've never had a stationary sniper, like a designated sniper person on S&D?
BO3 if someone banned the SVG?
I mean, that was about it. What did they implement in BO3 to do that? Was the pick and ban system. That was the only reason, because you could still use the sniper if it made it through, but that was the only reason snipers weren't used, is if they were banned. So when it comes to not having that in a Call of Duty game, it's not going to be fun to watch.
Like, even us knowing the snipers are kind of meme cannons, it's not going to be as exciting without them, I agree, but at the same time, bro, oh, if I get picked one more time A lane on Checkmate, I'm quitting together. I'm going to go play Fallout for the rest of my life, where I can play with snipers and not be upset. But unless there's something I'm just blatantly forgetting, that's really all I had to talk about for this stuff. Are there any other rules or stuff that's been announced that I'm just not acknowledging? January 23rd and January 24th. We're recording this podcast on the 20th to date the podcast. The matches are Dallas Empire, New York Subliners, Los Angeles Guerrillas, Seattle Surge, Atlanta FaZe, Florida Mutineers, and then on Sunday, London, Royal Ravens, Paris Legion, Toronto Ultra, Minnesota Rocker, and then the show match of the entire event probably is Chicago Optic and Los Angeles Thieves. Like I said, the guy has already made the prediction, but this is the only picture we could find, so you guys agree with his prediction of Dallas over New York? I don't feel like that takes a lot of brain activity, especially after the roster moves.
Yeah, Dallas is taking that 100%.
Dallas 3-0.
3-0?
Maybe 3-1.
Hold
In
it
the words
on
of...
if they take it seriously or not.
I mean, I feel like they're going to.
If they take it serious, 3-0, Dallas.
In the words of Aches, can we 5-0 them? So we're all agreeing Dallas over New York for the 3 p.m. match on Saturday. The next match, scheduled for 4:30 p.m., Los Angeles Guerrillas and Seattle Surge. On the power rankings, this is a 7 versus 8 matchup. Basically, Octane is going to slay out for Seattle. It's going to come down to what gunless we get and who's going to bait for Octane between Pristini and Looney. And then it's going to also depend on what apathy we get. Because as we learned last year, no matter how good Octane is, his teams can still lose. So I feel like Silly, Vivid, and Assault are going to have solid performances. It's just going to depend on the head-to-head matchup between Apathy and whoever his counterpart is in this. So
I'm gonna pick Seattle for this one. I'm gonna go with Seattle.
Yeah, I agree with that. Seattle's probably gonna take this one.
Yeah, based on what I said, I feel like I have to go with that too, because a solid performance from 3 players on Los Angeles probably wouldn't matter if Octane is Octane and Gunless is Gunless. So I'm disagreeing with the person's picture. I am picking Seattle for the 4:30 Saturday match. Which brings us to the nightcap between Florida and FaZe. Again, this isn't really a competition. Florida's made roster changes in the last 6 hours. I feel like FaZe takes this easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Sunday, the powerhouse matchup between London and Paris. London.
I'm gonna go with Paris here.
That's a wild card pick, brother.
I'm actually with Zoe here. I think
And
depending on how their practices went and how much practice they've gotten, I think Paris.
The only thing I know about Paris's practice is that they've played Chicago thanks to the YouTube channels that steal content.
let me say the reason why is because when Scraps plays with a chip on his shoulder, he's a completely different player. He got dropped from London for no reason, let's be honest. And his brother got dropped from London, and his brother is still not in the league. And this can all be traced back to London. So Scraps is very not happy at the current state of mind with London. So that's why I'm going to go with Paris on this one. I still think they're a bottom seeded team. Don't get me wrong, but
No, I get that.
I'd like to see Scraps get his revenge.
London is an SMG reliant team between Alex and Dylan. If they have off matches, London loses every map. It depends for me on Paris on what classic we get, because are we going to get 1.3 KD Rampart Classic, or are we going to get the 0.8 Classic that lost a 1v1 to fucking Ricky at BO4 champs?
It also depends on Fire 40, on if he can go off or not.
I don't know, dude. His counterpart in this, I think, is Zero. I'm not that confident in Zero, and I don't really think Shawnee... Like, he's a pro player. No offense, Shawnee, if you ever hear this. Yeah, you're a pro player. You're a god at the game. You're just not really in, like, the list of main ARs I would consider that would impress me. Like, you're a very solid main AR, but that's not saying much when there are 12, and you're probably the 10th main AR on that list.
Yeah, I mean, I can see this being a close game, but I think Paris will take it.
Who's Paris's main AR? That's a good question. What's Paris's full roster?
Fucking Fire, Scraps.
Aqua's their main AR.
Yeah.
Aqua's an underrated player.
What I said about Aqua is that if this was a jetpack game, Paris would be much higher on my list because Aqua was really good at jetpacks. Scraps is a wild card in any game, and then also Classic was one of the upper echelon players in BO3, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, he was a name people were afraid of in BO3.
Even then, but like in IW as well, Optic and Luminosity, everyone had their counterpart, and Optic was the best team in that game. So Classic played like Karma. So, they were a powerhouse team as much as Optic was.
All right, so actually, I might pick Paris in that too. I'm switching my answer to Paris. Yeah, I don't like London.
We have converted him.
I mean, just thinking about what I said out loud, this game relies on ARs to a fierce degree, and Shawnee just isn't that good of a main AR compared to the rest of the league.
Right.
So yeah, Paris is going to be my pick for that. And then when it brings us to the 4:30 match, Toronto Ultra and Minnesota Rocker. Minnesota is... where is Minnesota? Minnesota is Attach, Priesta, Accuracy, and Major Maniac. So, I don't feel like there's really a way Minnesota could lose this.
Yeah, Minnesota's taking it. In my opinion.
Who's on Toronto?
I
know Methods, Zenny.
Kleenex, Methods,
Cammy, Kleenex, Methods, and Bance.
Yeah.
And who is on Minnesota?
Attach, Accuracy, Priesta, and Major Maniac.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Minnesota on this one. I agree with you guys. I don't see a world where Minnesota. If Cammy plays SND the same way he played last year, maybe Toronto edges this out in a game 5. But I think Minnesota would take this one just by respawns alone.
If we get BO4 champs Kleenex, the tissue is an issue. I don't think there's any chance in hell Minnesota wins this because Kleenex single-handedly decimated Envy and BO4 champs.
Mm-hmm.
He went on like a 23 streak on Hardpoint Arsenal. But I'm still picking Minnesota unless Kleenex pops the fuck off. So are we all in agreement? 3-0 in the decision making for Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brings us to the show match of Chicago Optic Chicago. I never get those right, and then Los Angeles Thieves.
I find it funny how Optic is the only team that has the city name as like their main thing.
Yeah, Chicago is their mascot. Optic is my city.
But no, I think it looks cool because Optic Gaming, right? It's always Optic first, and then so it's Optic Chicago. I kind of like how they're different. This match totally unbiased whatsoever. Optic, 100%.
Biased decision Optic.
Okay, I'm glad we all agree. Optic.
And it's nothing to knock LA Thieves for. There's just something about 4v4 formal as an AR. Scump, now Dashy, and Envoy's been playing out of his mind. So, I mean, it's going to be a good match, definitely. So we'll see.
Just on.
I think it depends on. I think it depends on what TJ we get and what Temp we get. Because I mean, we already kind of know what we're going to get out of Slasher and Kenny. I mean, they're going to be good. But TJ is a toss up and Tim's a toss up for me. But I mean, regardless, I'm still taking Chicago. It's just I feel like in order for it to be a good game, those two have to show up.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay, side note that I just realized looking at the logo. Did you guys realize that it's OC now?
Yeah. No, I knew from the beginning.
I never paid that much attention.
Yeah.
It's not OG, it's OC.
I never paid attention. I just kind of saw it, acknowledged that they looked the same. Now it's a different logo.
Yep.
All right, interesting. Okay, whatever. So recap. We all picked Dallas. We all picked Seattle too, didn't we?
Yep.
We all picked Atlanta.
Yep.
They converted me to Legion for the 3-0 from that London. So we all picked Paris. We all picked Minnesota, and then the unbiased one, trademarked unbiased pick is Optic over LA.
If we go 6-0 on this,
I mean, I'm a Call of Duty esports personality. I know what I'm talking about. Catch me on main stage casting, lol.
Catch me outside, how about that?
So the next part of this was we were going to talk about the prize pools. So where did I post that? Right here. So just scroll up a little bit. So the overall money for this entire season is $5 million. And then Champs has a prize pool of $2.5 million, leaving the other $2.5 million for the 5 majors, which if you can do math, that means every major has a prize pool of $500,000. Which the way that works out is first place gets $200,000, second place gets $120,000, third place $80,000, fourth place $40,000, fifth, sixth $20,000, seventh, eighth $10,000, 9th through 12th. I'm glad you showed up because you don't get anything other than your salary.
The only thing that is good about the CDL is the prize earnings. Because the CWL majors were all 200 grand, right? Roughly.
Except for BO4. They upped it a little bit. I can't give you an exact number.
BO4 was different, but before BO4,
yeah.
Well, I mean, BO4 wasn't really open. The open bracket had their own kind of tournament going on, but 200 grand as first place, seems reasonable. What seems to drive these players more, and I know it's not for the money, it's not for
I mean, if you're in the league, they're guaranteed at least $50,000 a year because that's the minimum salary. They're not really playing for money now.
$1.2 million is great. You used to get what, 700 grand at Champs if you win.
Until
you get that at second place.
BO3 was the first Champs that had a prize pool above 400,000. And then BO3 was 800,000, IW was 600,000. World War II was back up to 800,000, and I think 800,000 was also for BO4.
So they docked. Optics pay. They knew they were gonna win it. They said, "Let's give them 600." They down talked their game way too much. They don't deserve it.
So the math works out if for champs, because the champs, if you win COD champs this season, you're gonna have a payout of 1.2 million before taxes for the entire team. So just a casual $300,000 paycheck before taxes, of course, because I don't know how the fuck this is regulated online. But that's not a bad weekend of gaming. 300,000 for playing video games.
How much was it last year?
It was like it was like 1.6, but it was divided between 5 people.
Okay, so I mean, it's still.
It was either 1.6 or 1.5.
So let me look at this picture. Oh, based on how this is giving the prize pools, teams that place 9th through 12th don't even make playoffs.
Yeah, they don't. That's already been confirmed.
Okay, cool. Because last year was stupid.
Yeah.
Last year felt really dumb. That like no matter how bad you were, everybody made the playoffs regardless.
I mean, that was all because they were trying to do the whole COVID bullshit.
That and they also didn't have like a thing set because until like the first weekend or the second weekend of the actual competition, they didn't even have like a tournament format. They were just doing straight league matches.
Yeah.
And then what is this? And then on the other page, there's CDL points, but I don't think these are going to matter at all. I don't even want to bother talking about the CDL points. If you win, you get 10 CDL points. If you win a major tournament, you get more CDL points. The more CDL points you have, the higher on the leaderboards you are, but
that's pretty much it.
It's basically just win-loss ratios.
So I'm curious. I mean, I don't want to sit on the points for too long, but it says 10 CDL points will be awarded for each home series match win. But what about the match wins inside the majors? So, like, say you win first round, do you get 10 for that, or does it all depend on?
No, you get it's like a payout at the end of the entire tournament. So if you place first, you'll get 75 points for placing first, and that's it. If you place 11th, 12th, you'll get nothing.
Well, if you place first, I think when you win the final, you get 15 points.
Is so?
If I'm not mistaken,
It...
because you'll have to beat 6 teams. So if you beat 6 teams to make it to first, or I mean, make it to the final, you'll have 60 points, and then the winner will get 15 points, not 10.
Okay, well. At the end of the day, like I said, the points aren't going to matter. The good teams are going to make playoffs. The bad teams aren't going to make playoffs.
The only time points are going to matter is whenever it comes playoff time anyways.
And a lot of those teams aren't going to really be stressing over it, but...
Right.
Moving on, the other big-ish news of the last 2 weeks is Dallas signing Felony to be their official substitute because teams have to have an announced substitute on the roster before they are allowed to compete in league-sanctioned events, such as the weekend kickoff. So, not that it's going to matter unless Hook dies. Felony's not going to get into the actual matches, but he is confirmed to be their on-contract, on-salary substitute, which isn't really going to change anything for Felony, except now he just gets guaranteed money. He's still going to be competing in Challengers under Triumph, question mark? Is he still on Triumph?
Yeah, I don't think they've broken up.
Which brings us to the other topic, because we were trying to do research. Who the hell are the substitutes for the other teams? The only ones we know that I can name off the top of my head, Chicago as General, Raza is Los Angeles Thieves' sub. Chino is the Gorillas sub. Or Exceed, whichever one they want to pick up. Havoc is now Florida's sub. And that's 5. I don't know who
sure that it was rumored theory was...
Did you say New York sub already?
Well, I don't even know who they're starting for is technically.
Well, so it'd have to be either DiamondCon who replaced... No, DiamondCon replaced
DiamondCon is in the starting 4, so right now their substitute is probably Hydra, but if Hydra's visa issue gets resolved, he's going to be in the starting 4, and there'll probably be Asim, who's their sub.
Okay, so Asim would probably be the sub. that team is just filling in for Hydra. That's what I'm assuming.
Is that
I don't
'cause
know where Wuskin is.
Wuskin's not anywhere?
I
None.
don't know why.
Challengers.
Like I said, dude, or like I told you off podcast, and I told TJ last podcast, I'm just convinced he slept with someone's girlfriend.
I mean, who knows at this point?
Look at him, dude. He definitely
Maybe
fucks.
Scraps was the one who slept with him, and he
Imagine
blamed it
he
on
slept.
Wuskin.
Imagine Wuskin slept with Scraps' girl. But
She's like, I thought that was you.
Is
I
that
have
maybe
a-
a little bit chunkier than
I have a
Scraps?
footnote that says, "What does it change?" Honestly, nothing. A lot of these teams aren't going
I
to use
mean-
their subs, and then the substitute players are still playing in challengers. The only thing that actually changes is the guaranteed money.
Subs are just there just for fill-in purposes, which rarely ever happens. As a COD player, this is your job. You have to be on every single day.
The subs are there. They get guaranteed money. I'm glad someone's getting the bag, but it doesn't really change much. There's not really any chance I can think of other than Florida having an internal conflict where there's actually going to be a sub change, or Zoomaa just not playing anymore. So let's move on to the big win of the last 2 weeks, for us at least. League play announced. Granted, they didn't give us an exact date. All they really told us was before February 24th, which is the end of Season 1. But they have said before then we will have League play in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So
Thank you.
thank
Treyarch.
you. Yes, thank you.
That's all I have to say. I mean,
I don't know why it took this long, considering we've had the CDL rule sets in private matches in the game since launch. I don't
At
know
least
why
it's
we
here.
couldn't just have an unranked preseason, but I'm glad that we're getting it. The only thing I will say is if we wait this long for another BO4 rank system, I'm gonna cry, because BO4's rank system sucked.
I'll go play Tarkov. Like, I also heard that they are going to have. There's a possibility of preset classes. So like, you won't be able to make your own class. It'll just be like 4 or however many classes that they make for you, and you have to use those ones.
Yeah, it was said on Twitter somewhere that the pro players are giving input to the developer on what classes to make, with GAs set in the pre-made classes. I don't know if those are just going to be pre-made classes that you can choose and also have your custom classes, or if all we're going to have to choose from are the pre-made classes that pro players are using. I hope it's...
that would kill League play for me. That would kill League play for me. I'm sorry.
It would too, but I'm hoping it's not. That's all we're going to get to choose from. I hope we get customization, but the reasoning behind what they're doing is cool, because they're finally actually getting pro player feedback for this stuff, and they're actually trying to like limit the amount of confusion with GAs. But at the same time, like in BO4, Merc was the reason all the pre-made classes and private matches for CWL stuff were there. Merc made those, but Merc was also pandering towards the bad players because he gave them a swordfish class.
Not mad. I wasn't very happy though, but
Well, I mean, look on the bright side, we can't do that in this game because tac rifles are just off the fucking scene.
which is great to hear.
But what do I expect from this? I'm really hoping, like, this entire game is copy-paste BO4, just with different cosmetics, which makes me think they're gonna give us the BO4 rank system. I don't want that.
I don't believe so.
I really hope they just give us an ELO system. World War II is the best rank system we've ever had in a Call of Duty.
See, my only issue with that is that if you're too high of a elo, you can't play with people lower.
I hope they change that, because that was an annoying issue in World War II, because you couldn't even play with people inside your own rank, because a rank was 500 points, and the max you were allowed to have a discrepancy was 450. So if I was like a 1999 and Zoe was a 14 or a 1501, I wasn't allowed to play with Zoe, even though we were the same rank.
The thing about it is, okay, COD is a 1-year cycle. When you have games like CSGO, like Valorant, like Rocket League, you can have a type of ranking system where, it's separated into different groups, right? Like your bronze, your plat, your bronze, your silver, your gold, your plats type ordeal. So when it comes to COD, I think it needs to stick to that World War II where it's just MMR based, and you shouldn't have to be within a certain rank. Obviously, if your friend is a 400 ranked MMR because he can't shoot straight, we all have that one friend, and you're at, let's say, a 1700, then I'd understand. At that point, just making you account.
Yeah.
I'm offended because I am that friend.
Yeah, TG didn't play World War II, so his rank doesn't exist.
I did not.
Meanwhile, I think I maxed out in World War II at 2600.
I think I'm still probably top 100 in World War II.
I was busy being a father.
Uh-huh. But anyway, basically I just want a basic ELO system, MMR system. I don't want whatever BO4 was, because BO4 stole their rank system from FIFA, which... Why? I have no idea. I have no idea why we took FIFA's rank system for FPS, but...
That game was fed off of the 12, you know, I wouldn't even want to say 12, the 15-year-olds who don't sleep, who don't care about school, who probably wear black Air Forces. They just don't care about life. They sit down and, I'll go to sleep thinking I'm safe, right? Oh, I have 1200. The person in second place is 800. I'll go to sleep. I'll be up in 8 hours and I'll go check. Next thing you know, I wake up the next day, the guys have 4,000 points. What happened?
Or what would happen to me is I just get hit offline every other match.
True. That happened to us a lot in BO4.
Dude, there was the one day I'm never gonna forget. Turned on the stream, first match of the day, had 40 viewers. I was frying on Hardpoint Arsenal. I was rotating to Gunhill, got hit offline when I was holding spawns. I was so fucking sad. I lost spawns and I lost 40 viewers.
Oof.
But there's not really a lot to talk on League play. The one thing I will say is if they continue adding in old maps, are they actually going to give us those maps? Because in World War II, they did not give us Valkyrie.
I heard that it's rumored they're adding a lot more like BO2 maps.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are we going to get Express S&D in competitive?
I think it all depends on the pros and if they want to play it.
I don't think the pros' opinion matters. I mean, maybe it will. I don't know. But that's all we can really say about League play, because like there's not really a lot announced other than like we're going to get it before February 24th. So a month from now, hopefully I'll be slaying in a ranked play. Which is going to bring us to some Challengers talk. And this week we might actually be able to say something because we actually found proper source material. So if you guys scroll up, we're going to start with... Well, let's first and foremost get out of the way. WestR is probably better than most CDL teams. They've won every Challengers Cup. WestR is above and beyond the best amateur team, and we're basically just talking about the rest of the teams as like we're acknowledging they exist.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Because WestR right now, I don't think anyone can beat WestR outside of the Pro League.
Who's on WestR?
Give me 1 second.
Yes, Paul X, Venom, and Gravity.
Yes. Tom, Gravity, Paul X, Zaptius, and Venom. They have won all 4 Challengers Cups, and it has not been close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, if we scroll up to the Challengers Cup number 4, top 8. We already talked about WestR, they're the number 1 team. 2, well, these aren't really rankings, these are just the top 8 in no particular order. The second team on this list is Parzillion, Rambi, Lamagod, and Perform. Like, that doesn't sound like a bad team. Lamagod, former Pro League player. Parzillion, former Pro League player. Rambi, good S&D player. Perform, not a name I'm familiar with.
Not at all.
Royalty, Dave, Patty, General, Standy, they are the number 3 team, I think, on the leaderboard. They're a solid roster. General, main AR, Royalty's a good player. Standy might be a sub eventually, and then Dave, Patty, solid 4th. I think it's funny that only 2 of the top 8 teams are actually playing under contracts.
This doesn't have New York Subliners Academy on it, because that's Diamond Con, Saints, Pro Loot, and Spark.
They're right here.
I'm talking like on a picture of it where it says top 4. It doesn't have it on there.
Oh, it's just not saying they're part of the team?
Yeah.
Alright, well, that is the next team. Diamondcon, Saints, Prelude, and Spark. They are one of the 8 teams on here. Now, here's where it gets a little fucky. Who in the hell is this 5th team? Estriel, Littlefoot, Tay, and Lurid?
When I saw Astral, because there is a Rocket League player named I think Astral. So my brain kind of turned off. When did he switch to COD?
I just don't know anybody on this team. Like, shout out to you guys for being top 8, but I don't know any of you.
I don't know.
I think Lord, I think that's how you pronounce it, whatever, has been in the top 8 before, like prior to them.
Like I said, last year there was not a lot to go on Challengers because there were no streams for it, so there are some people I'll just never know. And this is just one of those teams. Good job on being top 8. I don't know you. Which brings us to Kismet, Pander, Pentagram, and GodRx. This team... I don't think Pentagram. 3 of these guys have been in the Pro League. Kismet... Actually, last year, these guys were on pro teams. Kismet, Pander, and GodRx.
I'm pretty sure they took 3rd.
This team, I expect in the top 8, probably should be top 4.
Top 4, easily top 4.
I don't think... This next team, Jintroid, Parasite, Gunsy, and Glowfrosty, I'm not sure if that's still a team, so we'll come back to them in a second when we talk about the other source material, and then the other 8th team is Machilla, Scrappy, Onyx, and Teskey. I know Machilla, I know Onyx, I don't know Scrappy or Teskey, unless Tristan...
Scrappy, but I don't
know
much about him.
Those are the top 8 teams from the last Challengers Cup, and Zappies, Pollux, Venom, and Gravity won the entire thing. Then if we scroll down, the very last thing I posted, which you already said, Proloot, Spart, Saints, Glowfrosty, because they had to call up DiamondCon. That is the New York Academy. Toronto Academy, Insight, Scrappy, Onyx, Teskey, another team that was on that list that's under an organization.
Wait,
Exotic.
Good. So Glowfrosty went from playing with Parasite and Gunsy to being on New York Academy.
That's what we're going to get at, because there's a question mark next to Parasite's new roster, and it's the roster that I heard Doug talking about on his stream, which whenever I found out when Censor, Spoof, Bracken, and Maurice are teaming. Which, let's clear the air on this. Censor gets entirely too much shit on this game. Censor's very good at this game. He has his moments where he has the meathead plays where he makes a dumb fucking decision, but overall, Doug's a good player, especially in this game at least.
I think Doug all around is a good player.
Yeah, Doug's a good teammate. Doug wants to win. It just falls into the thing where Doug is like me, wherever I'm just very blunt about criticism. And like, I never intend to hurt people's feelings, but if you're going to be a fucking moron, I'm going to tell you you're being a fucking moron.
Right.
It's just...
You gotta respect that as a teammate, though, because some people are scared to say certain things to their teammates, right? Listen, you're on a team for a reason. If somebody's doing something wrong, call them out. And if you're called out on something, don't bitch. Don't make any sort of argument with it. Just talk with it. See what things you can fix. You know, if somebody tells you to do something, try it. Right? The least you can do is try it. If it fails, it fails. There's nothing you can do.
Which is the other thing that people need to understand about scrims is no one's fucking playing scrims to win. You practice, like I've never went to practice trying to win. I go to practice to get better. I go to practice to try new things that might help me in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one gives a fuck about map count in a scrim. Like, yesterday was Censor, Brack, Spoof, and Emery's second scrim. Like, second map of scrimming. And they were losing hardpoints 250 to, like, 160 against, Royalty and crew, who is... Royalty, Dave, Patty, General, and Stan, who was a top 3 team in amateurs, and Doug's chat was just going off on him. I was like, they're getting 160 points against a top 3 AM team when this is their second map. Calm the fuck down.
Right.
Which I guess I'm just gonna go on record and say it. Doug, if you ever see this for some reason, you have my support, brother. I see through the bullshit that other people don't want to look past. Because a lot of other stuff people give Doug crap for is how confident he is, and I'm basically like, if you don't think you're the best, why the fuck are you competing?
True.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go into a map thinking, well, I might win this one. I go into a map thinking I'm gonna fucking decimate the enemy. Like, it's a mindset thing. You have to be the hammer, not the nail. Hesitation's a hole in the head.
I think Formal said it best back in World War II. He said, "It's good to go into a match, thinking you're gonna win. It's not good going into a match thinking you can't lose."
Right.
Basically, I'm gonna spin this in a way that I've phrased stuff like this before. Because on my Twitch stream, I don't remember what game I was playing. There was someone in my stream talking to me about baseball, and I basically told them my philosophy whenever I was playing and my philosophy on how I coach players. I would rather, unless the person they're playing against is like literally the best in the game, the LeBron of whatever they're doing, the Bryce Harper of whatever they're doing, I would rather you pitch to your strengths as a pitcher than try to play around the enemy's weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, be the hammer, not the nail. If your best pitch is your curveball, throw that shit until the other team just gives up and walks off the field. Play to your strengths, dude. Never play around the enemy's weaknesses. That's the best way I can put it, but like I
That is a
said,
very good way to put it, actually. That needs to get quoted.
it's just,
Can we get a quote
it's quote check, exclamation quote. No? Okay.
check?
Let's have that quote
So,
put up. That needs to be in your bio, Tuck. We need to get that
oh,
printed out.
dude, it doesn't. I'll put it on a t-shirt next to the catch this hand and play me on land t-shirt that I never actually put in my shop. But so we've talked about 4 of these rosters. Censor gets way too much hate. I don't feel like he deserves much of the hate he gets. He makes bonehead plays. Everyone makes bonehead plays. It's how you recover from them. The confidence never wavers. I can appreciate that. Hoping the best for Doug. Top 6 team, in my opinion, if Spoof and M. Ruiz can step up to the plate, especially M. Ruiz. Spoof is good. M. Ruiz is the question mark on that roster. And speaking of question marks, Aches, Mox, Lacefield, Parasite. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's potentially a team.
Before we turned on the camera, Zoe wasn't here. Aches and Parasite, that team never makes sense to me in any game. Aches might have simmered down in his old age. I still don't think they're going to mesh well. Mox is one of the whiniest players in the league. Mox is a good player. He just whines a lot. Not really a negative. Lacefield is insane. And I mean that literally. He probably should be in an asylum.
I thought you meant insane as in the game, but
Well, I mean, he was pretty good at BO3, but like, after... It's also, just side note, because BO3 champs with Aches and Lacefield beating Optic, one of the most heartbreaking moments, but also one of the best moments in esports ever, is Aches and Lacefield just screaming at the crowd. Aches cupping his hands around his ears and yelling at the crowd that he can't hear them. One of the most heartbreaking moments, but I'll be damned if that picture of Aches yelling at the crowd isn't like etched in my memory as like an awesome moment.
it was a minor setback for a major comeback because they did end up winning champs next year finally, and it was one hell of a show.
It was. As stupid as it is to say and as unpopular as an opinion it might be, from person who like edits videos and stuff, Hitch got handed his videographer of the year award based on the storyline that Optic Call of Duty set up for him. They lost on purpose to set Hitch up for the victory.
Oh,
1000%. Oh, if Crossroads doesn't happen, Hitch doesn't win videographer of the year. That's probably not true. Hitch is amazing at his job, but Crossroads...
no, Hitch is very good at what he does, though.
Crossroads is one of the best videos on YouTube, between Maniac and the COD team losing, and then the announcement at the end, because I think that's the same video they announced Optic Halo. Oh, it was the same video, because fucking Nick retired, true. That dude, there's just... That video's so fucking good, even though it makes me so sad.
The beginning, how it's set off. Just the Optic Gaming banner, and then Formal with his head in his hands, the chair. You knew it was going to be emotional.
Listening to Vision and Chill whenever Hitch was describing the very opening scene of Nick walking into the chair, and whenever the door slammed shut, the audio stopped. I was like, huh. You know, now that you mention it, that was good. Dude, yeah, dude. I just can't put into words. It's amazing how the most emotionless player in Optic has led for some of the most tear-jerking moments. Fucking Maniac, dude. The most emotionless player on the entire organization. Whenever he retired, not a single dry eye. Whenever they announced him as their substitute last year, whenever they bought his contract from Florida, same story.
Right.
He's made me cry more than someone without emotion should make me cry. Also, English, I can speak it. Fellow Marylander. He's from Hagerstown, which is 45 minutes east of me.
Shit.
And then Ogre 2 is also from Maryland. Not saying anything, we just breed fucking champions here, brother.
Fair.
But,
I mean, Slack's 45 minutes away from me.
I said champions. I'm just kidding, Slack is one. Then the last team on this roster, Sib, Jimbo, Cells, and Hollow. Hollow, good. Cells, good. I don't know Jimbo or Sib. I also don't know what organization you're playing under.
Jimbo is good.
Jimbo's good? I mean, I assumed he's good.
From watching him last year, yeah, he was.
Didn't he come up last year?
I mean, he would have had to. Last year was the opening door for a lot of people because they didn't have to play with pro players anymore.
Yeah, fair.
But I hope everybody on this at some point gets under a roster. Doug, if you're listening, hit me up. I'll get you under TFK.
You're
LOL. But let's finish off Challengers talk with another big W of the last 2 weeks. Our boy John announcing his comeback into competition. Why he was banned is still under speculation. I've heard many things. The most plausible thing I've heard, beyond his medical issue, which I don't know anything about that because nothing was really said about it, is he got a suspension during last year because in BO4 he was an Adderall. He was selling Adderall at events to players. How true that is, I have no idea. I'm not saying it's a fact, I'm just saying that is the rumor I've been hearing.
I don't like to speculate on rumors or anything, but with the medical situations that he's had, maybe the cause of it was Adderall. We don't know. Again, I'm not going to put a rumor on him. I like John.
I mean, I like John too. I don't have anything against John. I'm just in the realm of what we're doing here, it would be kind of a, I don't want to say disservice, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about the rumors, because that's kind of what we're doing. I'm not putting any dirt on anyone's name. I'm just simply saying what has been said.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to make his return. But like I said, I mean, it is what it is. Whatever happened, happened. Hopefully.
Because like I said, I don't know what his medical issues are, because nothing was said about it other than he had medical issues. But if it's like something that's like similar to what's wrong with me, I completely understand, because
I see John going 2 places. Either Gorillas to play with Apathy again, or Seattle.
I could almost see New York.
New York might be a destination if the Hydra thing doesn't work out.
New York as well. No, that is true.
It's just a matter of how quickly, because John never stopped playing. Let's also throw that out there. He never stopped playing. He just wasn't allowed to compete in CDL sanctioned anything or be under contract. John still plays. I mean, granted, it's with Killa, but Killa doesn't play against people that are entirely trash. But John also top frags every match when he plays with Killa, so. Also, shout out to Adam Sloss for taking that D rating like a champ, brother. I feel bad for him. He took that to heart. Did you see the clip of him reacting to that video live?
What video?
Did you not see the Chicago Optic rank video of players?
Oh, yes, I did see it.
Did you see the clip of Killa reacting to the video live? Whenever they put him at D, he kind of wanted to cry.
I did not, no.
Killa looked very, very sad whenever they put him at D.
He didn't want to say anything about it because he was pissed.
They were doing it for jokes. They said it in the beginning. They were doing it for jokes.
Yeah, but there's also a little bit of truth behind some jokes.
Yeah.
And especially when Formal is presenting his case like Formal presents his case. It's like, I'm not going to be a pussy. D sucks.
D tier. Drop him in the D tier already.
D tier.
Like, I feel bad for Killa. Killa's not a D tier player, especially if J-Cap's a C tier player.
He has a ring. Doesn't Killa have a ring?
Killa has a ring, yes.
Killa has a ring.
So Killa
he's a world champion.
Killa's also been in a lot of unfortunate situations because this was off stream. But we were talking about why Killa quit competing, and I basically told TJ's because he went to an event in BO4 and his 5th teammate never showed up to the event. I'm not going to say who it was. I know who it is. I'm not going to say who it is. People in the community know who it is, but I'm not going to slander the dude's name. He's done a pretty good job of that already.
I'd be livid.
Dude, he literally, they were waiting for their first match. They sent a text to the group chat, and then what I heard was the dude just left the group chat and never answered.
What the
Fucking weirdo, bro. But John coming back. Let's see. Just let's get a number of teams he could actually fill in for right now or be a substitute. Assuming he's still John, he could play for Paris.
No, absolutely not. I refuse to allow John to go to Paris.
I'm not saying he wants to. I'm not saying I want him to, but he could play for Paris.
Here's my top 3 of where he goes. My top 3 would be LAG, Seattle, or New York. Those would be my top 3 that he goes to. Maybe Florida.
I think
Florida
definitely Florida.
Florida could be a potential team to pick him up. So I mean, hey, we'll see when.
I don't know, dude. Scump kind of fell off. Maybe Optic.
Oh, did you see or somebody asked in one of the podcasts, and Envoy did? They asked him if he was prepared to take Scump's spot whenever.
Oh yeah, that was the Codcast. That was a nameless. I didn't see the clip, but I know what you're talking about.
What do you guys think?
There's no way Envoy could fill those shoes. I'm just gonna keep it $150.
I mean, I see him attempting it with like him trying to get his YouTube and everything, but there's no way he's gonna be on Scump's level. He might get close, or I mean, he might attempt it, but there's no chance he's filling the shoes completely. He might fill them a little bit. They might be a little size or two too big.
Envoy is always going to be the kid wearing the dad's clothes in that scenario, and that's nothing against Envoy.
No, Envoy is a phenomenal player, but Scump
is the king for a reason.
Exactly.
Literally, he earned the title. He did not call himself King Scump. People called him that.
Right. I could almost see John going to Rocker too, if stuff doesn't work out for them.
Really? I feel like Rocker's pretty solid. The only issue they have is, like I said, week 1, they don't really have a true SMG player.
Exactly.
I don't think that's a bad thing because the SMGs in this game don't play like SMGs.
Right, but I mean, I could see him taking possibly. I mean, obviously not ideal because Attach is one of my favorite players, but I could see him taking Attach's spot.
Nah, do you 1000% Priest is gone? Priest plays too much Warzone. Priest plays more Warzone than Black Ops Cold War, bro. He's off the scenery.
I don't think it would happen, but I could see a potential.
I don't even think Priest knows what the meta is, to be honest.
To be fair, Priest
has GAs again.
Priest just uses whatever his teammates tell him to. Priest is the best flex player we've had in recent memory, other than Karma in World War II, but that was a shitty situation that we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Priest overall is the best flex player probably in COD history. I'm going to go out and say that. He's played so many different roles.
See, if Gunless actually finished from a team from beginning to end, I'd pick Gunless as one of the best, but
he's gonna stay on the team.
If he can stay on a team, I don't know what is around him that causes him to have this bad luck.
I think it's just his personality, to be honest.
It is just his personality.
You're on a team with 2 of the greatest Call of Duty players of all time, Arcides, and then Envoy, who's a young stud. How do you manage to mess that up?
I mean, I don't know what to say.
I mean, I see him as almost similar to Censor in a way where they just say what's on their mind, like no filter, no holds bars, just.
But like,
need to say.
The difference between the two is Doug presents his cases generally like a coach, and Gunless just whines.
Yeah.
Also, Censor wasn't playing with Scump formal Arcides and
right.
Because I remember at the beginning of last year, Envoy was very vocal during scrims, and I feel like that probably rubbed Gunless the wrong way. Because Gunless probably likes to have things go his way, because I think he's probably been the best player on every team he's been on until that point. Yeah, and if he didn't get his way, he probably just said, "Oh, I'm not playing then."
When you're on a team with Scump, Formal, Arcides, and Envoy, it is very hard to be the best. it's not going to be given to you.
I mean, yeah, true. It's just I don't know if that ever resonated with him because he's literally been, with the exception of World War II when he's teamed with Slasher, he's probably been the best player on every team he's ever been on.
Just think of it this way. From the original E United roster, Gunless, Silly, Arcides, and Pristini, he's the only player to not have a ring.
Which is... Yeah, but the counter argument to that, not that I'm defending your claim, because it's 1000% true, he's also the only... No, never mind. I'll take that. I'll retract that statement I never made, but Gunless has also had more overall success than most of those players. Because in World War II, he won 3 events with Rise? 2 or 3. He won...
Overstacked team.
I mean...
They got top 16.
A lot of teams
Champs.
got top 16 at Champs. Optic didn't even make bracket play.
But I'm talking about Gunless here.
I know.
And then the E United team from BO4, which I don't know why they split up, each player was the most dominant in their respective category.
They split up solely because United wasn't in the league.
Yeah. So, I mean...
That... And there was a lot of internal conflict between Arcides, Pristini, and Clayster. Which, whether it was legitimate beef, I don't think it was. I think it's just heat of the moment arguments.
No, not at all.
Right.
I don't think it was.
People have like out of context CDL on Twitter. People take arguments out of context. It's just heat of the moment debates. And to be fair, there are certain players in the league I'd trust with opinions on certain topics, like Slasher. I don't know if you guys know this, Slasher's kind of a fucking genius. He has a fucking engineering degree.
Yeah.
Clayster is 1 semester away from having a psychology degree from West Virginia University. Like, there are 2 players that I would legitimately shut up and listen to, at least after the initial argument, because I'm not gonna lie, I try not to be the douchebag when I'm presenting arguments during moments, but I get carried away sometimes. Like there was the one video I uploaded probably like 2 weeks ago at this point where I was yelling at TJ, but not really yelling at TJ. I was just questioning what he was telling me, even though it wasn't his fault, about the fucking hosting situation in game battles. Because you did yell back, I was proud.
But I don't know why, but here lately, like I've been actually like, usually like whenever somebody yells at me, I just get quiet and just do my thing. But here lately, I've been being a lot more vocal. I'm proud of myself.
That's good.
Proud of you to stand up for yourself, dude. Like I wasn't even yelling. I was just like, I was just visibly upset about what you were telling me. It's like, what do you fucking mean we have to play this entire match then wait for an appeal? It's gonna take these idiots at GB like 3 weeks to get back to us.
Now you know why I got premium. Even though it's going away.
I mean, one last touching point on that. John could probably play for 6 of the 12 CDL teams right now.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Moving on to the Q&A, which the questions are on my phone. Give me 1 second, I'll bring them up. We're going to start off with, did the console you started on affect your path in gaming? Let's go in the Discord top to bottom. TJ, you start with that.
Did the console you start with affect your path?
Let's revise the question a little bit. The console you started on / the first game you remember playing?
Oh, the first game I remember playing?
I mean, the question is console, but my first console was technically my PC where I played math games. So let's talk about like the first true console and first true gaming experience you had.
Oof. What was it? A Nintendo 64 Mortal Kombat.
So you started off with a fighting game, automatically competitive?
Yeah. I started off playing Mortal Kombat as a child, and then slowly, within time, switched in at FPS.
All right.
So, I mean, I get competitive. I mean, I'm playing competitive now, so it makes sense.
My first legitimate gaming experience, not counting the math games I was talking about, was Medal of Honor Frontline on the PlayStation 2. So my first gaming experience at the age of 6 was storming the beaches of Normandy, thrown straight into the fucking fire. I came out of the fucking womb a warrior, dude.
That's a great game to start off on.
Also, side note, unrelated to what the topic is, other than it is the game, Medal of Honor Frontline has one of the greatest scores in terms of music. Have you ever sat down and just listened to the main theme from that game? Especially Zoe, because I know you're into music.
Frontline, was that the one that was very similar to Battlefield? It was made by Frostbite. Like it was developed by Frostbite.
I would be lying if I said I knew. It came out in 2003. Frostbite may have not
Oh,
existed.
then no, no.
Medal of Honor.
I'll have to look back into it.
Medal of Honor Frontline came out in 2003. So
yeah, I'll have to listen to the soundtrack and let you know.
Just the opening, the menu music is so good. It has French horns, and I'm just a sucker for brass instruments. So, Zoe, first console, first gaming. Does it affect how you are now?
The first console was the GameCube. The first game, well, it really wasn't a first game. It was the first two games I played on it were Super Smash Bros. Melee and Mario Kart Double Dash. And Mario Kart Double Dash, I beat it 3 times from 50cc to mirror, every single circuit, cover to cover. I beat it 3 times on 3 different memory cards.
So what you're saying is your first experience in video game is an esport and being the best at the other one?
Yeah.
Alright, makes sense. You are the best. Say so in your going live tweets. And then I guess to touch on my first game was an FPS. I still play FPSs, so it kind of pigeonholed me into that, I guess. Not really. Medal of Honor Frontline was a very good game, but I didn't understand it because I was 6. Alright, next question. Undisputed GOAT of the CDL/COD esports. I'm going to start off with this one because I'm going to have multiple answers. Because there are different ways to go about this answer. Like, the overall GOAT, it has to be Scump. I don't think there's any way to get around that question because he transcends esports. He's the Michael Jordan of Call of Duty. In terms of just straight-up player, that has to be Karma.
I agree with both of those points to a T.
I would like to say Nadeshot, because Nadeshot's doing very well for himself, but he also had to leave Call of Duty to do that well. Not that he wouldn't have done that well if he didn't stay in COD, but...
Say we had a Mount Rush... Let's rephrase it. Let's have a Mount Rushmore of Call of Duty bros. What 4 people would you put in it?
This one's easy.
Nade, Scump, Crim, Karma.
Okay, we're...
Maybe Clayster. How many faces are on Mount Rushmore?
4.
4.
4? Yeah, my initial 4.
Alright, well, that was easy. Shit.
I don't know. The OG GOAT to me is Big Timer.
Yes.
Big Timer is... I wish he would have been in his prime nowadays rather than back in the day. But to me, the OG GOAT is Big Timer. The undisputed greatest player of all time, in my opinion, is Karma. The best, most consistent Call of Duty player of all time is Scump.
I wish Big T would have stuck with it and didn't quit.
Oh, me too. Big T. He's the OG GOAT.
I mean, he's doing great for himself now. But
Big T's net worth is so high he doesn't talk about it.
Yeah. He didn't even say it on the...
He literally chose to eat the cat food rather than say what his net worth was. Same with Scump. But, I agree with the Big T statement to a very thin extent because he literally played for 2 or 3 seasons out of, like, the entire history of COD esports that was relevant. Like, he was a national champion in COD 4, but that was way before people even recognized Call of Duty as an esport.
Mm-hmm.
Not to discredit anything he's done, but he also won an event in MW3 where they were playing with heartbeat sensors.
OG GOAT.
I love Big T. Don't take anything I'm saying as slander against the dude's name. Just, I think my Mount Rushmore is still Nade, Scump, Karma, Crim.
Well, My Mount Rushmore would be, I think it would be Scump, Karma, Nade Shot, and Clayster.
Ryan Bacardi. Oh,
I think that would be my Mount Rushmore.
all right, TJ. Doug, and Doug.
No, negative.
Oh, I see. You're not a man of culture.
So my 4. Shit, it's actually kind of hard. I would go Scump, Nade Shot, Karma, Clayster. I kind of like if I could put like a little 5th head just to be a weirdo. I kind of want to say Aches because without Aches, I don't think that Call of Duty's where it's at today.
If I put a head up there, hold on, let me restate what I just said. I'd take off Clayster and put Crimsix. So it would be Scump, Nade, Karma, and Crimsix. Crimsix is the winningest Call of Duty player in history.
Second most winningest player in esports in general.
Yeah, so the Crimsix has to be up there.
I mean, the only reason, like, so if Nade Shot wasn't up there, I'd probably put Crim, realistically. But like, I feel like Nade Shot got so many eyes on the scene.
Yeah. Nade Shot.
Nade Shot and Scump are literally the George Washington and the Abraham Lincoln of this discussion.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's no way they're not on this list.
Right. And I mean, Karma's 3-time. He's literally probably one of the best players to ever touch the game.
And then Crimsix being the winningest.
Right.
Player.
Literally, Karma won an event in COD Ghost with Doug as a teammate where he literally muted Doug in the call because he hated him. He won an event without getting a single call out from Doug. Don't call me Damon. We're not friends. All right, so let's answer the actual question though. Overall, well, I mean, we're all in agreement. It's Karma, so never mind. Karma and Scump. These next 2 questions rather are from my friend Dave, and let's put a disclaimer out there. Dave is basically Zoe, where he plays every game and is good at every game. He's a grand champion in Rocket League. To preface this next question, because he wants me to ask the question, why is Rocket League dying? And then I put in parentheses, is it dying, question mark? Because I don't really know. I don't play a lot of Rocket League. I don't pay attention to it. I don't think Rocket League is dying, though.
I will say this. It is the complete opposite. Rocket League is thriving. Since it got to the free-to-play point, there has been, I don't think the number has been below 900,000 players online at one time. It's been hitting millions. Rocket League is the opposite. As an esport, the only reason why it's doing the way it is the fact of, the whole pandemic that we're dealing with.
So let me play devil's advocate real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League is dying because at the end of the day, it's just FIFA with cars. Thoughts?
Absolutely not.
Okay, devil's advocate didn't work.
No,
not that I truly believe that, but I'm just trying to see his point of. I don't know why I literally have in my notepad. I put in parentheses. Is it dying? Question mark? Because I don't think
it's not dying. No, it's not dying. You can watch the streams. The streams are still nearing 100,000 people watching. And it's just league play matches.
I feel like they have too much going on, kind of like in a CSGO sense. Because like almost anytime I get on Twitch, there's something with Rocket League. So I kind of
that's different. It's not the main scene now. There's different types of Rocket League events that go on. Like there's a collegiate one that they do for the colleges, which is really fun to watch to represent your college in a Rocket League match. And I think that's pretty much it because they do that during the week, and then they do the RLCS, which is the championship series, on the weekends.
Yeah, but I feel like it just happens like the RCL or whatever tournaments.
Now
just are too often.
So answer this question for me, because like I said, I don't play Rocket League. I don't even have the game installed. Is it a situation like basically every other game where there's a tab on the main homepage where you can watch Rocket League esports? Like it's an option that'll take you to a website that's streaming it?
Yes.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, sick. I'm glad to know that literally every fucking game besides Call of Duty does that.
Yeah, they promote their...
They literally promote it. When you're on the menu, it'll let you know that the esports is live. You click it, go straight to the stream.
So basically, what we're saying is that's another reason World War II is the greatest COD game we've ever had, because it had that in the HQ. Got it.
Yep.
Let's just really quick side talk it. Rocket League isn't dying. That's the question. That's the answer to the question.
Absolutely not.
Wow, World War II was a good game. All right, we're moving on. TJ, you didn't play World War II. You can't talk about it.
I played it at the end.
At the end, it was good.
Played it.
I will say the back end of World War II was better than its state in the beginning. So you cannot knock, as a whole, it wasn't good. But if you played the back end of World War II, where they had that whole overhaul, it was a good COD.
So let me put it to you this way. The first time TJ ever played World War II ranked play, we had a teammate that didn't know the PPSH was the best gun in the game.
It is what it is at the end of the day.
I played it whenever it first came out, and I hated that shit. So I stopped playing.
That's fine. You're
World
bad.
War II made me stop playing.
You're bad. That's fine. Okay, Karma, calm down. World War II bad. Stop playing. Nah, but final question. That this is also from my friend Dave, who also plays other games. He wants me to ask the people I'm with, will Valorant ever pass CS:GO? I'll let Zoe start with this one because he plays Valorant more than TJ and I put together.
I was having this conversation with my friend yesterday. We were rewatching the Cloud9 phase match.
E-League champs or E-League
the E-League in Boston.
Yes, the one I made a video on.
I looked at it and I told him, I said, Valorant will never be this. To me, it's a different game. I know people are like, oh, it's exactly like CS:GO. It's a different game. I don't think it'll be big. It's a big competitive game. I don't think it'll ever meet the stature that CS:GO had, at least back then. I hope it does. Believe me, because I'm a big Valorant guy. I play a lot of Valorant, so I hope it does meet that stature. But I mean, we'll have to see.
I could see it probably reaching like Overwatch, but I don't see it getting to like a CS:GO level.
Because you have to remember, Valorant is very popular in NA, not as popular in EU.
Right.
CS:GO is popular in EU and popular in NA. So
let me present a counter argument to that. Is the growth of NA Valorant because of COVID and people not being able to compete against good competition in CS:GO? Because I know 100 Thieves had to drop their CS:GO roster because they just weren't playing anybody. A lot of teams have exited Counter-Strike in North America because there is nobody here to play other than Team Liquid.
I think it's due to the pandemic. It's 100% due to the pandemic.
And then there's another counter-argument I'm going to make, is that this game will thrive if the Asian territories, because at the end of the day, this game was made for Riot's demographic in Asia, because in Asia, they're not allowed to really play Counter-Strike because terrorists. It's counter-terrorists versus terrorists, so they can't really play a game that has terrorists in it. It's just the way the laws there work. So Riot tried to capitalize on that demographic by presenting them a very cartoony CS:GO clone-ish question mark. So Valorant's success is going to solely depend on the people that get bored of Overwatch and want to play Counter-Strike but aren't allowed to play Counter-Strike.
I'm trying to see, because there's a lot of top players in Valorant from, Asian descent. So I mean, I think Valorant's made for everyone. So we'll see.
It's as a person, personally, I'm not a big fan of Valorant. I think Valorant's success is riding the coattails of past CS:GO wins. Because, like, 100 Thieves, who's our 100 Thieves roster? It's Hiko, right?
Hiko,
Nitro,
Steel, Nitro, Asuna,
and the one guy from Cloud9 CS:GO, right? Tens?
No, Tens is on Cloud9. It's Hiko, Asuna, Nitro, Steel. I can't believe I forgot the fifth player. I'm going to get slandered because I'm a big 100 Thieves supporter in Valorant.
All right. While you think of the fifth, we'll just throw that like what I just said. 60% at least of the roster are former CS pros that either A, just got thrown into really bad situations, or B, just got bored of CSGO because they weren't allowed to compete against good teams. So basically that's my entire point. The best team in Valorant is made up of washed up... Who?
Dicey.
Dicey? Okay,
Dicey.
I don't know who that is, but...
It's Dicey, Asuna, Steel, Nitro, and Hiko.
So 3 of the 5 are former upper echelon CS pros, which is like my point. The best players in Valorant are just washed up CS pros, which basically just
Hiko
means...
Boomer.
Hiko, are you kidding me? But
fun fact, Hiko used to be on Optic.
Hiko was on Optic, and then I don't remember what happened. Trying to remember what happened. That was before they picked up the entire EU team. Or no, Hiko was a sub for the EU team. Was he? I'm speaking out of my ass. We're just not going to talk about it. Hiko did play for Optic. Hiko also got dropped from Cloud9 because they wanted to play with... I don't know. Why did Hiko get dropped from Cloud9? Did he leave?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Topic.
I mean,
I think Hiko was big on, and quote me if I'm wrong, but Team Liquid. I think he was big on Team Liquid.
He went from Cloud9 to Team Liquid. I just don't remember why that happened.
I'll have to look that up later.
I'll look it up later too. Like I said, this is a Call of Duty esports podcast. I'm an expert on COD esports. I'm aware of other happenings in like CSGO because I like a lot of CSGO stuff. But that was so long ago. That was like 2015. But basically, I mean, Valorant, in my opinion, will never be better than CS in terms of just an esport in general. Like, it's not a bad game. I'd be stupid to say it's a bad game. Just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean it's a bad game. But
it's not a bad game.
I can't deny that the best Valorant players are people that left Counter-Strike because Counter-Strike was like just beating them. And then, like I said earlier, Valorant also rose to power because of COVID and just separating the player bases. And at the end of the day, this game was literally made for Asian demographics. Because that's just where Riot has a big hold on. Any thonks on that, Tej?
I mean, like I just said, I'm clueless on this whole topic, so I don't really...
Fair enough, dude.
I mean, I see where you're coming from with the whole Asian demographic for Valorant. I mean, I played Valorant a little bit. I enjoyed it more than CSGO personally, but I never got into it.
I mean, Zoe can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Valorant's a little bit easier to get into than CS. The strats 100%. aren't as like mind-numbingly pixel lineup-y.
100%. I think it's well, the difference between CS:GO and Valorant are the abilities that you have in Valorant.
Also, every gun in Valorant can ADS.
Yeah, so CS:GO had the where you hop on your teammates, you get different angles, smoke spots, nade spots, all this other thing. For Valorant, it's learning the abilities, where to smoke, where to use your ult, and all these other things that you do.
All right, but since we were going on an hour and a half, I'm gonna have to say this is where we call it. So
I think this is our longest stream yet.
It definitely
was great. This was fun.
Holy.
So before we dip, any final thoughts on the entire thing? My final take is going to be people stop disrespecting Doug Censor Martin because he's actually a lot better than you know because you don't watch scrims apparently.
My final thing is I thoroughly enjoy having a third person on the podcast. Makes it where I don't have to talk as much and I get somebody else's input other than Tux. I'm enjoying it.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just trying to say that me and you agree on a lot.
I mean, it's because I'm always right.
Oh, fuck off.
I showed Zoe the VOD, some of the highlights from our last few matches, and I was like showing him the clip from when I said I'm 1-5, just get my fucking trade.
Nobody got his trade till the end of the round.
Because me and you have the same thought process in a lot of things.
Yeah.
and it's just nice to have a third person.
Especially considering some of the topics that are brought up today, it's nice to have Zoe that actually plays different games, because I play exclusively COD and single player.
Exactly.
However, YouTubers, this is also available on every audio platform except Apple Podcasts, because I think they have blacklisted me. They're not replying to anything I've sent them. If that updates, I will let people know on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at WhyTheTuck. I am WhyTheTuck on every social media. If you'd like to keep up to date with TJ and mine's adventures in game battles, I upload those on my YouTube channel as well. YouTube people, it's going to pop up in the top right corner right now. People on audio platforms, I am WhyTheTuck on YouTube. Any other shout-outs, boys? TJ is TJ's Rice on Twitter. He doesn't upload to YouTube. He streams on Twitch, also TJ's Rice. Zoe, where can people find you?
On Twitter, it is Zoe Season X, ZOSZNX. On Twitch, it is Zoe_season.
And before we end, Zoe, let me get your final thought on the entire podcast. What is your send-off?
It's gonna be a very interesting year of Call of Duty. Hopefully this whole pandemic goes away and we're able to go to LANs. Other than that, it is going to be a very interesting year, and we'll just have to see where the road takes us.
All right, so TLDR, play me on LAN and catch this hand. Until next time, I've been WhyTheTuck, joined by TJ's Rice and Zoe Season. We will see you guys next time.
Have a good day, y'all.